Welcome once again to United in God's Work. So glad to be with you. I'm Chris Wallace, and I am delighted to have a great friend with us today to talk about how to upgrade that prayer connection. Mr. Tony Lockhart, he is a manager of donor relations and the new chairman of our web prayer committee, which we'll talk a lot more about that. So glad to be with you and have you here to talk about this amazing instrument of change here at Food for the Poor.
I'm happy to be here, Chris.
20 years now.
Yes, 20 years.
Oh, wow. In all that time, your work in donor relations and in the last few years in the web prayer committee, how have you seen the prayer connection build closer relationships among us here, as well as with those who donate and work with Food for the Poor?
I've seen tremendous growth in our prayer ministry. We started, when I began in their field, we would just get the prayer slips and call the donors and pray with them. But with time, that evolved. We developed a website and we began to use the website for the purposes of prayer. We began also to pray more among ourselves. We would get calls or emails from other departments and other people in the company about situations that required prayer. And we would immediately gather and pray. Chris, you know that because you often were part of that and would pray with us. And then we began a tradition which has continued and developed. And you were part of that this morning, where every Thursday morning, a group of us would meet in the prayer room here at Food for the Poor, and we would pray for one another, for our intentions, and also for our donors. Once we left because of COVID and began to work from home, we, as a department, have decided to use that Thursday morning as a prayer service in which every member of the department participates. And you were there this morning and you saw that. So it has evolved. It has evolved to the point where, whereas one person used to manage prayer, I used to do it as well as my duties as a manager, we now have a prayer coordinator in the department who basically manage the prayer process. She takes care of the prayer slips. She takes care of the prayer requests that we receive from our website. And she also takes care of the prayer requests that come through our prayer line. She receives the prayer requests from the web, and the prayer line processes them in terms of identifying the donors who has sent them. And if the donors have a person who is their prayer partner here, that prayer request goes to their prayer partner. If not, it goes to any member of the service advisor team, which is the team that I manage, who will call and pray with those donors. We also have, as you alluded to, the web prayer committee. And what that committee does is to post on our web a prayer of the month for each month, and then a prayer for every week of the month. Those prayers are submitted by employees of the company whom respond to an email and send their prayers. The committee looks at them, formats them and prepares them and sends them to the web department, and they post them on the web.
Wow. You know, you and I were talking the other day about our mutual hero, Martin Luther King. And I remember this quote, through our scientific and technological genius, we've made the world a neighborhood. And through our moral and ethical commitment, we must make of it a brotherhood. We must all learn to live together as brothers, or we will all perish together as fools. This amazing relationship that we're building with one another at Food for the Poor and with the donors, we're making that neighborhood a little smaller, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yes, I have some examples As I was coming down, I remember one caller who had developed this special relationship with a donor over a number of months, and then she could not reach the donor for a few weeks. And when she finally got the donor, well, not got the donor, but got someone to answer the donor's phone, she discovered that the donor had passed away. And the person on the other end was very appreciative for all the calls that our rep had made to that donor. And you would have thought that that donor was related to our rep because she did take the passing very hard because they had had such a close connection through prayer. And we do have other relationships like that where donors call in and ask for specific reps, advisors who have prayed with them over a number of months.
We're talking with Tony Lockhart. He is manager of donor relations, chairman of the Web Prayer Committee. And in case you didn't know, Food for the Poor is very serious about prayer and praying with you. We'll tell you more information about how you can connect with us on our website at foodforthepoor.org. Speaking of the seriousness of inviting people into that arena of prayer, how serious do we take that?
We take it very seriously. We try once. There are donors who will call in to our donor services department and will ask for someone to pray with them, and we try to respond right away. Just 2 days ago, someone called in, and our prayer coordinator wasn't here to distribute the prayer. When I saw it, it was past the hour at which many of our advisors would have gone home. So I called the person and spoke to him and prayed with him, and then sent our prayer coordinator a note saying, I prayed with the donor. It would be good if we could follow up with him. So someone has already called him following my prayer to follow up with him. And we also tell the advisors when they call and pray, or the prayer partners is probably the better word to use, when they call and pray with someone, if that person's prayer need is great and they sense that the person really is hurting and really needs prayers, we encourage them to call the person back in a few days and follow up. And if the person has had surgery, they'll call periodically just to pray with the person as they recover from that procedure which they had.
Building that relationship.
Yes.
Well, it's in the title of the department, donor relations.
Yes, it is.
We at Food for the Poor do a lot of work, and out of all the work that we do, especially, in raising funds for the work that we do, what do you wish that everyone knew about what goes on behind the scenes, whether it's the Web Prayer Committee, the prayer wall that we talked about? What is the one thing that you wish everyone knew?
That our advisors are prayer warriors in the true sense of the word. They believe in prayer, and they are committed to praying with our donors. And they will spare no effort to reach donors and call them and pray with them. We have situations where we call people who are at their lowest point, and they'll say, "Why did you just call me? You don't know how much I needed this call that you have just made to me."
Wow.
Because I was really at the lowest point of my life. And I'm so happy that you have called and that you have prayed with me.
Wow, incredible. And as our director, Ian Wood, says, God is always that third person in the room.
Yes, he is.
Tony Lockhart, manager of donor relations, an incredible part of the organization and ministry of Food for the Poor, as well as a chairman of our web prayer committee. Talking about the prayer connection, we want to connect with you. Aside from everything else we do, go to our website at foodforthepoor.org. And if you scroll down just below the middle, you'll find at least 3 ways that we can connect with you and help you in your walk, your daily whatever you're going on, as well as the people that you help. And of course, right here on our YouTube page, we've got more content, more great stories and answers to prayer that you'll be hearing. Tony, God bless you, sir. So honored to be working with you.
Same here, Chris. You have a blessed day.
And you have a blessed day as well. Thanks so much for making us part of your day and finding how we all can be united in God's work. I'm Chris Wallace. God bless you. We'll see you soon.
This has been a production of Food for the Poor, united in God's work.